Problem is, now I've told Dean where he is on the screen. Every time I'm looking at him, he'll know now.
You looking at Dean?
I'm
You
like,
staring
hey,
at Dean?
Everyone stare at
like-
Dean.
Oh, he's bottom left for you as well, Ian. Where am I for you then?
You can tell if I'm looking at you guys, because I'm usually looking this way when I look at you.
Oh, okay.
You don't look at us very often. I'm always looking at you guys. That's how I get.
I've got
ahead
like
of the
6,000 things to do. Hi, by the way.
vote. Oh,
Welcome to
we're live.
Jarviskjir. The grave situation. We really are in a grave situation with these undead bandits. Anyway, so you actually travelled through that forest with no issue, so that things were sped up. On one of those sped up nights, Gilwyn, you're cooking a darling meal, are you? What are you making? A Gilwyn?
Oh.
Vale.
Yeah, I'm cooking a darling meal.
I panicked then. I was like, I'm cooking now. What?
Well, I've got some rations, and I'm gonna direct Melody to get me some herbs. And I'm gonna make a nice old stew.
A ration stew? Oh no, you got like proper sausage rations from Northenden last time you got rations, so yeah, you can get an actual sausage casserole going or something.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and have a go at that.
Yeah,
I'm not trained in
remember,
survival.
it's no, cooking is an intelligence roll.
Like a flat intelligence?
Yeah, you don't have proficiency in cooking. I run most crafting via intelligence. Or you
Well-
can use constitution instead for cooking, actually.
Or constitution.
I sometimes allow constitution for cooking. It doesn't really make sense, but it also kind of makes enough sense.
Doesn't make sense, but I'm gonna dirtily metagame it because I have more constitution than intelligence.
That's why I allowed it, even though I like the idea that you're trying to cook and you don't know what you're doing.
Hey!
Yeah, you cook a
I get it
hearty
now.
stew.
I'm gonna explain how you cook with constitution. You try it until you don't throw up. You're like, no, no, oh god, and it's the constitution having the fortitude to try it 60 times
To keep going,
until it
no
gets
matter
nice.
what. Yeah, you actually do make a fine meal. It's one of those things where it's not elven, it's not anything, it's not to any kind of culture, it's not the kind of thing you get in a restaurant, but it's a pirate thing of, we have all these ration supplies from ships that we stole, and they don't go together. But we can make them last longer if we cook them into this hodgepodge of a stew. But it's actually fine. I imagine all of you eat it. Even Melody, who usually would just like eat a rabbit or something.
She probably pokes at it a few times, sort of like slightly confused.
And Gilwyn's
that's
like,
it.
no, it's good.
Yeah. No, it's good. That's your Gilwyn.
It was like a half-assed Gilwyn.
It was an ace Gilwyn impression.
No, I'm Gilwyn. No.
Amelia usually eats her own rations, even though you guys get your own food.
Well, admittedly, we have been eating like grubs and stuff, but Vale's gonna like put some in a bowl and like offer.
I don't really eat things I don't know what's in them.
Get it
Well-
down, yeah, it's
Well,
fine.
I can tell you what's in it
They're
because I
very,
made
very
it.
British.
And Vale is gonna list the ingredients and then stand there, hands on his hips, and watch. And wait.
Now, I will say that some of the ingredients were things given to him by Melody, and probably Vale was like, what's this? And Melody's like,
Flowers?
flower
And then
of
there was
roots.
the
So-
there was the round leaf, that was white, and then there was the thorny leaf, and that was white.
Amelia will kind of like sigh and take a bite, but she's not happy about it.
It is nice,
Like trying to be polite.
but
Bill's
you're...
satisfied with that. As soon as you start eating, he's like, nods, and then walks up.
It's nice, but Amelia's stubborn, and Amelia...
Also, like the first night I spent with them, like they poisoned themselves with like awful food.
That's true. That's a very good reason not to trust things that they cook, because
Yeah,
that
what
night
did
I
you eat
think...
that? Was it like dodgy, like
It was.
laxative
It
Vale?
wasn't poison. It was you put the. It was last
was
session.
ghost
It was the.
chili.
It was the pepper.
Mhm.
It was the,
yeah.
the extremely strong chili thing. So, you
That's
travel
paid
through
for
the
healing
forest
up in the
continuously until you get to the point where Melody could tell you, looking at the map, that like, we'll across over that ridge is wherever you need to go, right? So you're sort of like probably an hour into walking when she tells you that, or I don't know whether she tells you that or you work it out together. But either way, you know because you've seen the map and you worked it out. And Melody's weird smart. So, what do you do? Do you keep walking? Do you send off the owl? Do you stealth up? What do you do, party of adventurers?
I would be reluctant to send my owl up ahead of us. I would just say, no, we don't know if it's safe up there.
Yeah, we can send Aberforth out. I would say
Aberforth is a very sensitive creature.
I would say we look for a thicket, a little hollow, somewhere to make a small secretive camp if we're going to be here for a few days. And then we can ditch any non-essential gear in the camp and roll our way up to the ridge and have a little peek.
Give me a... If everyone is okay with that plan, we'll find a little safe camp spot on the edge of the forest nearest the village.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me investigation rolls, anyone who's trying to look for it.
Does this count as a temperate forest?
Yeah!
I have advantage. I'm probably going to fail now that I've said that.
Ooh.
I did not fail.
No, that's great. So it's actually everyone but Vale who had the idea that ends up working together on this. Vale is one of those people who's like, this is my idea. I will find the place. And he's looking, and he knows what he's looking for so much. Can't. He doesn't. But what you guys find is actually like a little nest of something that's been there before.
Oh yeah, what a fucking fantastic idea. Let's
But
go in a
no,
nest
you
that's
do
capable
search
of fitting
around,
4
and there's
adventurers.
nothing. There's nothing. Yeah, a nest big enough to fit 4 adventurers. It's a little tight for you, but it's a little safe place in sort of like nooks, and it's a little deep and under other stuff and shrouded by brush and all that sort of thing. It's actually Melody who can tell you that a troll used to live here, but you don't want to know how she knows that the troll's no longer here and that the troll's dead.
Smells an old loincloth.
But it's no longer here.
It.
But you can, but because the troll's here, there is actually a little bit of stuff built up. There's a little bit of like wooden paneling, probably taken off a caravan or something, that shrouds one side more than others. It's a fairly safe, hideable position. If people were chasing you, would you be immune from being found? No. But you'd have a way easier time hiding here than anywhere else.
Good job, everybody. This is surprisingly good. What time is it?
It would be noon.
Vale's gonna suggest that we do the scouting at night. For now, for the first session at least, until we have a better idea of where we might be able to look from. And so he is wanting to spend the rest of the day cleaning this place out of the troll stank and filth. Because, as he says, if we smell of troll, we won't be able to hide very well.
Counterpoint: if this place
Because
smells like troll, it probably blends in better. If it smells like Horty Adventurers,
Don't make it look better.
Well, I thought maybe I'd get rid of some of this shit.
You can push it to
there
one
is a
side.
literal pile of troll shit here.
It's okay.
Melody,
Don't
can you see
look
at
worse.
night?
Melody can use magic, dark vision.
I wish you just left it at that. Melody can use magic.
no, they had that in Lost Initiative yesterday. We're not having that conversation. So, yes, you can.
Okay.
You also might be able to turn into animal. I think maybe a couple of animals that you can turn into have dark vision, but I don't know the list of what animal knows what off the top of my head. But we could find something that you.
To be honest, I don't really have a list of animals I can turn.
I can get what we
I
just
got
know
a
for our
nice-
logic.
There's a nice app that you can get on your phone that'll do the tricky, and I can point it out to you.
Cool.
afterwards.
Yeah, let me know that sometime.
I can't see in the dark. Just so you know.
We are well aware.
Gil holds Melody's hand. Melody can lead.
Thank you.
I like how Gil just accepts that. She's like, thank you.
I trust
She knows
Melody.
what's up. She
Yep,
knows
no,
what
The
he
last
is.
time you trusted Melody, you ate ghost peppers. Just saying.
I'm quick to forget.
I'll tell you
Oh.
right now, badgers have dark vision. And you don't need to
Boom.
know anything else.
Badgers are the real MVP. You know, one of my party members was very nearly murdered by badgers several times. Normal badgers, giant badgers. The badger bane. That's
Anyway, yeah. So you're spending
Wow.
Are you spending the rest of the day clearing out this place? Oh, you alarm it, which makes a lot of sense.
If they're spending the rest of the day clearing out this place, Melody has no interest in clearing it. Does it count as a day to make a healing potion, or?
Well,
A little bit on
you'd
the
be
short
starting
side.
at noon, and they want to leave when it gets dark. So
Sure, fair
not
enough.
really.
It'd be- Then she just wander around looking for herbs and stuff. Nothing specific.
Sure. You're just being.
If I saw you like
Being
actually
Melody,
working
basically.
on making a healing potion, I would offer you my equipment.
I think Melody
No,
has a
if,
herbalism kit.
if it's not gonna be doable in the day, then I'd just be doing Melody things.
Okay,
Staring
so you
at
do that
trees.
until night. You fuck
Melody.
Vale cleans up. Gilwyn cleans up a little bit, but probably works on music. Amelia does alarm and probably checks some spells. Melody. Night falls. It's actually pretty cold. There's just a little bit more of a sprinkling of rain starting. I'll be honest. Lichvale, Goldport, it's kind of got British weather. It's very rarely sunny. It's usually cloudy. It's usually raining. So you actually have rain, which is actually really good if you do want to sneak anywhere. But it's not very heavy rain. Just a little spattering.
It's that fine rain that soaks you through. No?
no, fine.
No
mate.
one?
Fine, mate.
Really? No one?
No one.
Peter Kay?
No one.
No. One, like, Erin's not going to know Peter Kay jokes. Just
was
not even a
looking
little
at
bit.
Neil to be like, he'll know. Neil will know.
I don't
Neil
really
knows.
watch many stand-ups, I'll be honest.
Anyway.
I like your mug.
Anyway!
Got a heart on it.
Aw.
See, yeah, that's right. You
It
admire
did
that
distract
mug.
me. I don't drink out of mugs, but I like mugs. So, that really did just brain
So
gone.
now we're going to be sneaking
Now you're
out
sneaking
to the
out.
outskirts of the forest,
Mhm.
and we'll all be making stealth rolls.
Absolutely. If you want to sneak towards this place,
Boom!
and
I
Melody
did it.
can't pass
Points
without
of
it.
spell.
How do you do this, Melody? What do you do?
That is a good question. I have not thought about it. I only just remembered I had it like about 5 minutes ago.
Which is very
Take
useful.
a big wolf cloak and rub it outwards.
She probably like sort of gathers everyone round and sort of like touches them in a slightly odd manner, and just like shadows seem to cloy to them a bit.
yeah,
like
you
there's
would-
a sort of touch of magic, and shadows seem to cloy to them a bit more.
Imagine maybe Amelia explains what she's doing after she sees what's going on. Because while the others are like, what is
Yeah,
she doing?
actually, I could.
Because this isn't a super uncommon spell in Bastilian. You can
Yeah,
buy
and it's abjuration. So it's
you
right
can
in my
buy
alley.
people to do this for you in Bastilian for totally legal reasons. So stealth
Not a lot
rolls.
of rules.
Stealth rolls with a +10. Which
Oh,
I figure
yeah.
I have to do on my end, right?
Yeah, is that right? If you
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm just going to stand on whatever.
Doo-doo.
Oh.
I
Oh
am
my god.
glad I'm glad. Well, actually, no. I got one, didn't I?
You got a natural 1. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
But
Because I saw Erin's die, so I was like, how do I get a 3? Oh wait, crap.
Gil did get a 34,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
impossible
Gilwyn is
DC.
really stealthy. He's so stealthy. Oh, fucking bad jokes by Dino. So you set off.
That's hilarious because you can't see either.
He started. You start leaving the forest. It's one of those things where it doesn't immediately go to flat plains lands. It actually goes through sort of torn up farmland. There are fields of some kind of grain. The grain is white, but they are unkept. The sort of thing that if you actually know anything about farming, which none of you do, Melody probably the most, you would know that this, even if it wasn't not being treated for however long the bandits take control of the place, was also always a bad crop anyway. It's like infested with shit. But it's perfect for cover as you get closer and closer to this town. All of you give me perception checks. This village.
Based my perception.
What do your elf eyes see?
God damn it, Gil.
I know, not one again!
Oh, you are all... See,
Ian.
Melody, Ian is very unlucky at D&D, but Melody hasn't been that unlucky until today, where D&D remembered that Ian isn't allowed to be good at D&D.
Also, the funny thing is, Dean just rolled a perception with a natty 20, and he can't see shit. It's like, for a second, his eyes just glint, and he
Don't worry.
sees everything.
It'll make sense. So, you're traveling. What you do
he's
see,
using
everyone
bardic,
aside from
so-
Melody, who is, I can't even think of a good reason why Melody is distracted right now. Actually, no, I can. Raj is very uncomfortable and actually wants you to leave. And Melody's kind of having an argument while you're stealthing with Raj about whether or not to stay or go. You still do keep going, but that's kind of part of the reason what's going on. And that does involve you occasionally going like talking to yourself a bit more than you do, maybe a bit louder.
Melody.
Melody, how you doing? Pack it in now, or we're going home. I'll turn this fucking cat around.
But what you see is this little village, like most of the places on here, because it's hills, is on the crest of a hill, but near a little bit of a cliffside. What you guys, aside from what Vale notices, is that in that cliffside is some kind of structure. Looks like a little bit of a fort, or maybe a mine, but it's sort of too built up to be a mine. But also it's too small to be a fort. But there is a bit of a structure that you can tell has been built around by all manner of tents. Now, there are only actually a couple of buildings in this place. There's like a granary and a windmill and then a couple of cottages. And they're actually in fine shape. The windmill isn't turning, but then it's night. It probably wouldn't be anyway. That's how windmills work, question mark? But it's not in use.
Everyone knows it's not windy at night.
No wind at night, absolutely. But what you have...
Wind is
I didn't
powered
know.
by the
They might
sun.
lock up... I don't know how windmills work. It's just like a bit in Futurama, like, hope those windmills keep the turtles cold. That's not how windmills work. What you do see that, of course, with all the camps, Vale and Amelia see that there are deadless about. The number... hard to work out. Like, I'm fairly sure you were told a sort of number that it is a big amount. You probably see it's there are more people in this camp than the village is meant to support. Like, by far. If you assume that there are people inside those houses, and you can actually see a little bit of flickering of torchlight, and there are so many tents set up, and then there are people who are just sort of sleeping rough. There's just a lot of people. But you also clearly see, like Vale sees, that in front of the fort is a bigger tent, and there seems to be some kind of setup there, which you can immediately tell, because you know bandits and pirates, but the leader is there. And actually, Vale, give me an insight roll with advantage.
I will do that.
Are we just ignoring that I got a
No,
20?
it's coming back. There's a lot of things to describe.
I should be seeing their fucking blood type. I should be like, oh, yeah, oh.
I'm not Scott. When you get a 20, you get a 20. Well, Tantus
Okay,
does
good.
that a lot, where it's like, oh, I got a 20. It's like, no, you might know what's going on. It's like, fuck you. You had advantage on that, Vale.
Oh, I have advantage, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is worse, I can know.
Hey.
You know that Vale, with some leaders of pirates and pirates are often very similar to bandits, you can assume that there are people in that structure. It must be some kind of defense. Maybe it was like a backup defense for the village in case of attack. And they actually they took this place because of that structure, because it's a good place to set up a home and build. And actually, now that you think, there's a dwarf in charge, maybe they're digging. They're deadless. They can dig all night. They could just make an underground home that could fit all of them. They have infinite time, provided they can repair. But you know that some captains or leaders will set themselves before, like, most people, so it's not like you're going into a large camp to see them. So, yeah, you would be going into their camp, but you wouldn't be going into their safe place, if that makes sense. If you wanted to see their leader, you'd be seeing them outside. If there was a fight, it would be outside, almost like they are the first stand if there's going to be a fight, which you could work together. Is this guy probably actually is pretty honorable if he's doing this. Dishonorable leaders definitely don't do this.
So, to summarize, there's a smattering of old structures and tents surrounding a more fortified structure.
Yeah, the fortified structure is going into a cliff. Vale, or Gilwyn, what you see, because you can't see in the dark, is this red glowing, like fire. And it's actually kind of coming your way. No, not directly. You work out as you look at this for longer, it's a person. The person is glowing. The others don't necessarily see it because they can see better in the dark. They don't see the sharp contrast. You see the sharp contrast that this guy, maybe they're not glowing that much, but there is a fire around them on their armor or something that does stand out in the darkness. And they're riding a horse. And that horse is armored. And that horse, you can see in the way it is capturing in the light, is a fucking skeleton. Or at least it's undead. And it's going your way, not going directly to you. You can work out that this person is patrolling in a circle. But he was doing a patrol, and now he's actually starting to go back into the camp. And the others do not see that at all, because their eyes don't work that way.
Well, they seem to have patrol.
He's the only one who's doing a patrol, too.
Don't know if any of you guys saw that.
Not to say you can't see guards. There are deadless awake at the outside, like the perimeter, but he's the one patrolling.
He's just gone back in, but I think they have people patrolling.
Okay. Dean, you see him go on the horse, still on the horse. You'll be able to see him get lower to this central area where Vale can see is where this leader probably hangs out.
Okay.
That is interesting. I think that probably concludes tonight's visitation. We will review what we've learned. Everyone happy to head back?
Fucking hell's like ASMR.
Yes.
Welcome
Raj,
to
like
ASMR.
That's horrible. Stop eating your mic, please.
Raj, not like it here. Unnatural. Melody wants to go back forest.
We will.
Just so you're aware, Ollie, I would be more concerned about like what people are doing within the. I'm not sure if I can get any information from here. Sleeping?
Well, in tents and laying about. Amelia doesn't necessarily. You've heard talk that deadless don't sleep, so they're not sleeping, but they're not doing anything.
It's really weird to me that they sleep and they don't eat.
They don't sleep, but these guys are acting as if they're sleeping. What you actually know, and all of you know, is that deadless don't sleep, but they require that sort of rest period each day. But they're not resting; they're repairing themselves because they're falling apart. So, in a community like this, they're doing it to each other, and actually, that would be things that you guys do see. Is that some of the ones that are awake? Like, there's a building that's open.
Just like Thorak, we walk past the tent and we just hear.
But like, there's a cottage that's open, and the light from
two
inside
different
the
guys in there.
fireplace in there is lighting like a couple of deadless who are repairing each other's bodies and wounds. So
They're tending to each other's holes.
tending to each other's holes.
Understood. Yeah, let's head back.
Okay.
Cool. You head back without any issue. You gonna go have a nice sleep for the night?
I think so.
Yeah, I want to be rested.
Okay.
That's the trance, so.
Okay.
I'm a keeping watch.
Vale, you aren't the first person to notice something. See, because you stayed up at night to do that little stealth thing that took probably about 2 hours because you were being really slow and stealthy, which means you would slept in later than you normally would have. Sort of 2 hours before you would have naturally woken up, so you haven't got your full long rest. Amelia, you notice that your alarm spell is triggered.
Which one?
The one around the camp.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because it's like it's 20 foot.
Yeah. So it would be, you would know exactly where it is because of that. It's
Okay.
like, imagine with your little hidey hole only really has one proper way in, aside from climbing a tree or going through some bushes. There's someone who just is standing there. It wakes you up. Oh, you want it to make? Do you want it to make a noise? I do allow you to have a choice.
It allows me to have a choice whether it is a mental or audible alarm.
Oh.
And I would have done mental, and either way, it wakes me up.
Yeah, it would have woke you up. Vale hasn't actually seen this yet. He's keeping watch, but he's also, resting. So
So if my
Never
alarm
knows.
went up, I would have bolted up, looked around, and would have gone to like the nearest person close to where I'm sleeping.
probably Melody actually.
Yeah, probably Melody. I would wake
Melody
her
has
up.
a habit of curling up as near to Gil as she can, so it's probably both of them more likely.
It's probably Amelia next to Melody, who's next to Gil, who's next to Vale. And you're sleeping in a line.
Vale.
So I would shake Melody awake.
Which
Melody
you
would
easily
sort
can
of
do.
bolt up like. This is like if she's probably used to being woken up by Raj sometimes in the night, like if there's something
Something's up.
coming. Yeah, so she would like be.
It is a
immediately
danger
aware,
awaking.
Sort of looking round.
Both
My
of you give
alarm
me
went off.
perception checks.
Can I also? Because at
Yes,
this point,
you would have. You would have
I'm
seen
like,
those
why
two
is-
wake up,
why are
and
they-
that would have like snapped you out of your own head.
Oh, good roll! Look at that.
Yay!
You see a horse in armor, standing at literally the edge of your camp, and on that horse, holding the reins, is an elf? To Amelia, that's all you see. You're kind of like waking up groggy. Melody, that doesn't look right. And Vale notices this too when he properly notices, like, that doesn't look right. So, not only is the horse undead, and in some degree rotted, the elf is topless from the top up, but his skin is translucent. You can kind of see everything that's going on under it. And in some moments, there's sparks of fire. In fact, it's welling up, and it kind of like goes in and out with breath. He does have hair that is a sort of it's kind of hard to describe, as sort of burnt white. It has got a bit of blondishness to it, but is long and very elven, but is not decorated in any way, which isn't very elven. In fact, Vale, you can give me an insight check with advantage. Often, elves will not decorate their hair when they are ashamed of themselves, or repenting for something, or not happy with what's going on in life. It's actually often one of the first signs of fading, which is the elvish equivalent of aging. They just stop caring about this one thing that's quite important to elves. Even though it's silly, and elves quite fully... some elves will admit that the attention to hair in elvish culture is strange. It is still a thing, which you definitely would notice. And he is just looking at you all with their kind of pale eyes, although one of them has that same kind of fiery light in it. And the fire is unnatural. It's a little too orange. And he's kind of looking down at you all, noticing you'll wake up. He doesn't do anything.
Melody pulls out the spear and shield. She doesn't make any movement towards him, but she's defensive stance, probably stands over Gil and like is in defensive posture.
Gil's asleep.
Yeah.
What the
She
rest of
probably
you
like
two
sort
do?
of hit kicks him like with the back of her heel or something just to try and get him to wake up while standing over him.
What do you do, Vale and Amelia?
I would actually give probably an elvish greeting. And I would just say, "Can we help you?"
Why do you spy on the people of Caspak? It would be
We are
Elvish.
on. I'll reply back in Elvish. We are on diplomatic mission from Lichvale, and
Olirant.
we were gathering information about this area.
Diplomats do not travel in stealth.
Diplomats do when they are dealing with people labeled bandits and thieves.
Bandits, thieves, such small scale, pathetic mortal mind thoughts. If you are truly on a diplomatic mission, then you would wish to talk with Caspak. Come along, wake your sleeping one. You'll all be coming along. And kind of looks at Melody's spear and is like, feel free to take your weapons. They do not scare us.
This is Elvish. Melody doesn't understand anyway.
Exactly.
She kicked Gil with the back of her heel again, tried to wake him up.
You would notice, Amelia, that but Vale and Amelia, you do not recognize his accent at all. Also, it sounds like it just sounds different.
I mean, that's fine. My accent's probably super fucking weird.
Yeah.
I wake up and I go, Melody, elf, and point at the elf on the horse.
Oh.
He kind of like turns the horse with the thing, and is like, such simple mind, curious. Why would they send? I will never understand the Lichvalians, which you know is just not the term.
Well, we best follow the fellow. Gil, get up. Now.
Strange. Unnatural.
Melody. None of that. Not while we're in the camp, not while we're walking with him. Okay? Some of them might take offense, and then they will hunt us.
She frowns but nods slowly.
Vale, give me an insight roll. While he's leading you, so he's actually in front, but he does look back, and if you start slowing down, he like rides behind you, and then rides in front again after a while. He actually didn't understand you when you were speaking common. Didn't clock in his mind. But he starts leading you. He leads you through the field. And
Can I
towards
mention
the
that
camp.
to the others?
Yes.
In common, of course.
Yes.
Doesn't seem like this one understands common. If there's anything you need to say, we should say it now.
He's got stupid hair.
It's magnificent, but I'm not sure about the color.
What's wrong with the color?
I'm not a fan.
It's funny because Amelia's hair is white too.
Right.
Melody just
Yeah,
stares
but
at
his
them
is
blankly.
blonde light.
Yeah.
Ben,
It's not even platinum blonde. It's just like, ugh. It's like color of turned milk.
like ridiculously milky tea.
Like ridiculously milky tea.
Oh, what a disgusting color.
Yeah. So he leads you into the camp. You notice that the
milky tea.
camp is a little more alive than before. Some of your suspicions that like maybe they're digging in that building. You do see people throwing rocks out. They literally just carry and just throw them. Like they throw them down the hill into the fields of like they roll into the crops and just like crush them. And like a couple of them laugh. They don't need this. Doesn't matter to them. It is way less organized than the one outside Lichvale, but the numbers and the people you see around, is quite good, and they all have arms and they all have weaponry on them, and they do watch you. They do seem a little amused. As a couple of them laugh. You actually hear one of them just like, "Ha! Ha! The fucking zombie elf found some humans. What else? I knew he was gonna be good for something." I was like, "You said he was an ugly twat the moment you saw him." It's like, he still is an ugly twat. Hey, he doesn't know what we're saying. Like, they're just chatting shit. And most of them are chatting shit. They're not Deadless. None of these Deadless are that quiet about anything, aside from ones that you can clearly tell have a bit more of a roguish nature to them or something.
Can I switch to Elvish and say, you know they're insulting you?
They, you say that, and he goes to start speaking, and then kind of pauses, and maybe he was going to keep talking, but at that time you ride into the center of, it's not the center of town, but it's the center of their camp, which is basically you're right beside the door to this little fortified kind of mine thing. There is a big tent, there is a chair, there are torches set up that are actually off right now, and he rides on the horse beside a Deadless fellow who is of dwarven stature, who is sitting in the chair. He is, you can tell he's Deadless. His jaw is bone. There's no beard, no dwarven beard, but like hair is actually still fine. It's kind of a rich blondish color that's actually still kind of kept its hue, and actually he's very muscular, and the muscles are still all intact. And they're like, he's wearing armor, a little bit of armor. He's wearing like a padded gambeson or something that probably doesn't count as armor. But he's showing that. He's showing the strength. There's a sword on him and all these things. And he's kind of watching you as you come in, and those two share a little bit of Dwarven, which I don't think anyone here understands anymore.
Was that the elf who was speaking Dwarven?
The elf is speaking Dwarven to this guy. Yeah. And he stands up, which doesn't change his height at all because he's a dwarf. And he kind of stretches a little bit. And he's like, "My name is Owen Kaspak. Who the fuck are all of you?"
We were
You look like you were gonna talk.
We were sent here from Lichvale to inquire as to the nature of your camp. We understand from the information we have been told that you are bandits, and we also understand from an encounter with potentially some of your bandits that you are terrorizing the local area.
Great. This is just great. This is what I needed. Tempted diplomats from Lichvale. Lichvale trying to... what? They want me to stop what I am doing here? No. And terrorizing the local population is... You don't know the plight of my people, little elf. Tall elf, big elf. You look like you have a good swing of that sword arm. I will not discredit you for that. No, but feel free to give the peace talks of however many silver coins you want to give to us to stop. We will not, for petty gold. It's not what we are here for.
Of course. Would you mind terribly, and I will kind of like gesture to the entryway of the tent, if I secure this area so we're not overheard in our talks? And actually, that's a lie, so I'm gonna roll that.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm doing. Ah.
He looks at you,
Oh boy.
and he's just like, "You little witch. I have no disrespect for magic. There is brilliant place for magic in the grand scheme of things. But I have been wronged by some magic users recently, so you keep that spellbook closed, or I will open up your body with a knife or something."
Okay.
Also, yeah, I mean, this is kind of how he sounds. He sounds very normal, despite a jaw, no tongue, all that kind of thing. Deadless.
You said you have no interest in gold. What is it that you want?
He said he had no interest in silver. That doesn't mean no interest in gold, no?
What could I do with gold? I ask you, what could I do with
buy
Elm?
land, a place for your people, somewhere for you to exist without being scorned, shunned.
I have secured land for myself and my people without being
Yes.
scorned or shunned.
Oh,
You
you are
understand.
not scorned as bandits? No? You do not think at some point some great hero will think I will rid the world of this bandit plague?
Well, at some point. And this is the matter of the world. This is the way of things. I do not expect to be eternal, but considering the options for me and my people, I give my brothers in arms best place, best security. And when we have completed my brilliant little plan, it's great. There'll be security, 100%. There'll be no issue at all. But I understand your point. You have some interesting words. Banditry, it's a very simple-minded thought to what we are doing here. Very simple-minded. You are not me, and I am not you. I don't understand you. You are tall and you stand like you have just taken beating in the ass, but I have thoughts, urges that all deadless have. We must fight. We must fight, and I do not want us to fight each other. And there are many valuable fights in this land. Is fighting commoners good? No. Fighting commoners is very bad, but it is better than alternatives. Do you understand?
I agree that you should have your own area and that you should have your own purpose in life. Perhaps we could help you get what you want, and in exchange, you can stop being bandits and killing random people.
You sound
Perhaps
like you're from
instead of-
Lichvale. You sound like you're from Lichvale.
Perhaps instead of, being bandits and killing the people around this area, you defend this area.
Yes, that is what Rockshaper wanted of us. Do you mind if I drink? And he kind of goes over to a decanter and pours, like, it's in a bottle of wine, comes out like a sludge. And there's a couple of glasses, and he kind of like raises one to you guys. He's not standing that near you, as if, does anyone want one?
Yeah. Sure.
He goes over and gives it to you, and you drink it. It is, without a doubt, the worst quality wine you have ever had in your life. It is just horrible, but it's kind of impressive how bad it is. It's very interesting. Does anyone else take any? I assume you're all like. No.
Well, if Gil has Melody Whale, and then as soon as she takes a sip, she probably just spits it out to the side or something.
You do that, and he laughs. It's like, yes, my wine. It's great, isn't it? You
Just
know.
glares at him.
Perhaps we might have some chairs so that.
Oh, chairs. Yes. Most of my brothers, they do not care for sitting. Aside from this one, he sits on that horse all day since I gave him the horse. He never got off horse. He loved horse, and I'm glad that he does, because it was a lot of effort to get that horse. But most of my brothers in arms do not exactly need for sitting. He tries to whistle. He has no lips, so it doesn't really work. And he's like, just yells.
It's like through his top hit a hole in
Yeah,
his top teeth.
he just yells. He's like, Boneshamble, come and get chairs for the good diplomats. I want to have nice long conversation with them. We're going to have nice civil discussions. And then chairs are brought over.
I'm gonna pull out the my dark heart liquor.
Which by now is separated into two liquids, one that's just black and one that's pure.
I understand your people have an appreciation for liquors that, shall we say, are interesting to the mortal palate.
My kind, no. Most of my brothers have no taste. I have a very particular taste.
Yes,
I like the look of that. What is it? What in the
But it is a gift for you. It is a liquor from Northampton, which I have then added a slice of a material which I am told is infused with the power of death. And I thought, deathless, they may enjoy this. So,
Oh.
I brought it as a gift. I have yet to try it myself. I cannot tell you how nice it may be, but in my mind, it.
He just like dumps his cup onto the floor and gets a new one. And he gets like metal ones instead of actually they would be stone ones. Because he's a dwarf. And then he goes over and hands them to you to pour. And he's like, you know, you're borderline on being offensive, but I am so curious. I'm not going to take your tongue out and wear it like necktie. I wouldn't do that anyway. You're like, he actually punches you in the stomach. Like, it is one of those playful ones, but there's no effort to not be a punch.
Yeah, I'll pour out.
And do you drink with him? He raises the glass and he says a kind of familiar dwarven, not toast, but like, let's drink kind of thing.
Yeah, I'll drink. I'll say to peaceful negotiations, and then I will say, because one of the few dwarven words I know, Forak taught me, I will say please in dwarvish.
You do that, and he laughs so hard he puts the cup down, and he kind of like doubles over in laughter. And it's like, oh, this one, I like this one. I thought when you walked up that this was just going to be your pretty boy husband that actually like taking it up the poof. But no, maybe he is a man's man after all. Well, maybe he's a man's man in woman's body, but I will, well, I was going to say I'll take what I can get, but that has some troubling implications. And he drinks it. Vale, when you drink it, it's weird. I mean, you drank what this stuff was like before. It's weird. It's not different. It has an aftertaste that is indescribable. Kind of numbing. But it's not bad. He seems to really enjoy it. Which is funny because he kind of like drinks down his throat. It's a little gross. And he does that. He's like, ho, that. Usually I get the cheapest shit I can get. I go to the nearest bars and I tell them to give me the worst thing they have. But usually I have killed people in bars, so I take the worst stuff they have. Sometimes I mix in the nice stuff because I like a little bit of the high life. But that's good shit. And he goes and sits down again. And he actually like scoots his chair closer to yours because it's like just a regular chair. You're all on like regular dining chairs. It's not like his is any fancier or anything.
Yeah, it's literally a bunch of wooden dining chairs out in a muddy.
It's actually like a little bit of a courtyard here, but like it's
it?
muddy and fucked up. Yeah. It would have been like a cobblestone courtyard if it hadn't had Deadless traipsing all over it for like a week. You know, mud's tracked everywhere. So you suggest. And he talks to Amelia.
Mm-hmm.
That we go back to city and be guards. That is one of the options for my people. You know, they take us from ground, they pluck us like ripe carrot, and they say, you can be guard. You will be guard. And you know what? To some people, that's good. To some people watching the city walls, that's good. There is no choice. There's no freedom. There is no. He says like a little bit of a dwarven phrase that you just don't know. It's like Ungrishkambarg. And it is better a fate than what others want of us. It is better. It is not the worst fate in the world. But I am new option. I fully admit to you here today, it is not perfect. I am not a man of deep planning. I feel I once was. But the mind of a Deadless is like owning a house with many locked doors. Do not have key. Do not have any keys. But sometimes you can peek. Sometimes you hear through the walls. And I feel like I used to be a man of grand plans before everything. And I wish I could create a grand plan for my people here. Something separate from Lichvale. But the people of Lichvale, it is no good being a guard while being a the worst piece of shit on someone's shoe. Being monsters to those people. No, we can be people here. We are not monsters now. We are people.
I agree. I feel like you should have more opportunities for your people. Perhaps we can take this information back to Lichvale and start to negotiate terms. But in order to do that, I feel like we need some assurance from your end that perhaps you will make a peace with the bandager.
I will tell my men not to attack Lichvale. They still will. But they may do it less.
I think it is important, if we are to help you, for us to know what your plan is here.
If I knew it truly, I would tell you myself. But then I am not a man of grand prophecies. Prophecies are great for some people, truly great, but not for me. I cannot live my life saying that, oh, you're part of a greater plan. No. It is... I like this place. Defensible position. Villagers not use. They have it for rainy day. They make it for some god. I make it into a nicer place. People can stay there quite comfortably. I could defend many of my people right there, but
Yet you also admit a need to fight is within.
it is a need to fight. It is the need. I have tried to explain this to mortals before. You have needs. You have need to eat, to breathe air, to make babies, to be happy. Deadless have need to fight. Nice eat. We have no other urge. We have to make ourselves remember to fix ourselves. We can eat, but to most it is useless on tongue. I think I may be only deadless that truly taste. And even then I taste as if through cloud of dirt. But you have urge to breathe air, to eat, to make babies, to be happy. We do not. We have urge to fight. We have need to fight. It doesn't matter what that fight is, which is why my brothers turn to attacking anything, anyone. And it is not ideal. It is not ideal, but I banned many of those people who add those urges into something that could be perhaps better. Better than, well, I know of people who would want Deadless be force of destruction. Is why we made fight. You think it's coincidence that we have urge to fight? It is never coincidence! Old dwarven saying, no such thing as coincidence. We were made to fight. People want us to fight. In fact, maybe it is Rockshaper who want us to fight. Do not know. If it would be great.
It seems to me that settling here would not solve your issue. You would still require fighting, and eventually the people in the area would die or move away, or you yourselves would be killed in a larger fight. Why not form a mercenary company and fight for coin that you do not really need, but nonetheless you are employed, you are legal, and you get to fight within the confines of the law, and that way you get to retain some honor. You are not bandits, you are mercenaries. Imagine the tales of the Deathless Company marching onto the field. A group of undead foes. That scares the hell out of me.
Give me a persuasion roll. You cheeky boy.
Could I assist him with that to give him advantage?
Yes.
Thank God.
What do you say?
I would just be agreeing with that sentiment.
Oh,
Like,
God.
perhaps there are other ways to fight that you will find enjoyable.
I have considered this. 1, mercenary work is prech. 2, who would hire mercenaries of undead? And I almost know the answer. And I do not want to work for these people. I understand that as mercenary company we would have more freedom than as army. I understand. It's a valid point. You bring good points to table. As if you were dwarf and not elf. Eh? But... do you actually shake your head just like, what is this?
And Vale looks at Gil and he's like, he's too much like Vorik.
He just kind of laughs. Like, these are good points. You know what? You want me to be mercenary company. You want me to be working under Lichvale. Hey, combine ideas. You talk to Lady Builder. You go around Rockshaper. Rockshaper will say, no, you fighter's army, you are deadless. No. What you do is you talk to Lady Builder. You give us the camps. You give us the maiden. The what is the woman? The woman. You give us the woman, the tall woman. She will pluck us from ground as if ripe turnip. And it will be great plan that'll work without... Yeah. But what we would do is we would work as independent mercenary company. We have no need for gold. We would pay for weaponry, perhaps some buildings. We would funnel most of gold into Lichvale. And if Lichvale uses some of that gold as we are paying to defend city as mercenary company, we'd still do other outside jobs and send people out for the hunts that they need. Perhaps that could work. I could see potential future, where that could work. There is possibilities.
I think there's one small issue with that is you said your people would not necessarily listen to you. If there was a time, say, where you had gone a month or two without fighting, I think perhaps you need to instigate some form of punishment for those who disobey your commands. If you have a group of your men go out to a village and slaughter 20 citizens, then this is people killing people, and people will face the punishment for their crime.
Persuasion roll. As much as I like just roleplay for roleplay, you know, we're playing D&D here. You say that, and you know, it's like the other thing. Some things strike true, but in the end, he's still shaking his head like, this is conversation I will have to have with the mayor of Lichvale.
Maybe you speak with the lady, and you know the what was her name? The half-giant lady, the one who pulls you out.
The nurse, wet nurse or whatever she was.
Yes. And maybe she puts you back in for a while if you disobey. It's like a jail, no?
That would be like putting turnip back in ground after plucking. Only insane person would do that, but have you met that big She has probably got bats inside her head. Is what we have here, my friends, is the start of a discussion. The start of a discussion.
Honestly, that's all I wanted. Was to open up conversation and see if you'd be up to the idea.
I am modern undead dwarf. I am always up for communication.
So we'll spend the rest of the day here and then bring back your terms to the Lady of Lichvale? Is that agreeable?
This is a good plan. He kind of thinks for a bit, leans back, and then like looks at the elf, who has just been watching all of you, just like unblinking, unmoving this whole time. And he kind of just like goes, the Caspac just sort of like nods a bit. I would like to have conversation with her at some point, but we would have to do this later in neutral grounds. But again, conversation for later times. But I see that we still have full bottle of liquor. Three of you have not drinkings. And you want to stay for the rest of day? What is Deadless do but drink? Huh? And he clicks his fingers. Nothing happens. He's like, "Whoa, you go, you get your bottles, get glasses." Yeah. And someone goes and gets.
I love that
glasses.
idea of him clicking his fingers and him waiting for a few seconds, then being like, Come on, come
Yeah.
on, seriously.
And they come and get glasses, and he takes the bottle from Vale, and he's like sitting way closer to Vale than the rest of you. He's like sitting next to Vale, looking at Amelia. That's kind of how it's up. And he pours a glass for everyone, and he raises it, and this is like a proper toast in Dwarven, and it's like and you can see the elf in the back, who you know speaks Dwarven, just actually shakes his head. But you have no idea why. So he has their glass raised for you to all raise it with him.
Melody just turns to Gil and says, "We no kill."
Amelia will like raise her drac to like distract him from that. Oh yes.
I'll actually ignore her
Ben's
and
gonna
raise
raise
my
his
glass.
glass, and then he's gonna turn to Amelia and be like, "You said not to drink this."
And then he drinks.
did.
He's like, you'll
Melody
drink. I
isn't drinking
assume.
it, by the way.
You're
I'll
just
point
gonna
out.
stand there. So he drinks it and then immediately looks at Melody, like with a smile. Well, as much of a smile as this guy can have, just like.
She just stares back at him.
I'll grab Melody's drink and drink that as well.
Oh, you look like a little weedy man, but you have heart of bull.
Oh,
He has liver of deathless.
Stay! No, talk to my people. The opinion of leader is not opinion of people. I am brother to my people, but I am not the same, and I know this. So talk to them. Learn what they would want as well as what I would want, what you would want. Have a good time. We might be dead, but we still know how to live the nightlife. This is
That
not
was
true.
surprisingly persuading.
It is odd to me that the two non-human deathless seem to be the most unique. Are
And
you
we
perhaps
have-
different in some way?
With that thought, we're gonna go on a break because we were so in that conversation I
need
didn't
to
even
pee.
realize. Yeah, I was just during a break. I was like, I
I was
to go to
too
the
into it,
bathroom.
and then you mentioned it, and I was like, "Oh boy."
Yeah, so
It's that necrotic material.
it's
in it.
necrotic
just gone
material.
Straight through me.
You're gonna pee black. Sorry, you're gonna pee black. For a while. Anyway, we'll be back in like 4 minutes to see what's up. See ya.
See you in a bit. Right, I'm gonna pee. Be up.